Hello? Hello, hello. Oh, my car was unlocked. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep, just waiting for them to get online.
Echo that.
Good morning. We're here on the child support contempt docket. But before we start, I wanted to talk to Mr. Ocurrs. Kevin Ocurrs, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. It's Agers. I got you. I'm here.
You were actually on a docket called the paternity docket that was at 10:30. So I handled your case then. So I thought I would tell you what I did. There was a motion to revise the child support amount and based on your last 3 years of income. The child support was increased to $755 a month, but I did approve of a step increase for the 6 months will be $506.50. If you have a question about that, I would suggest you get a hold of the Office of Support Enforcement and talk to them about it. Okay.
Oh, so you granted her the 755?
I did. I signed that order. But again, it steps up. So I think it's $506.50 is what you pay for the next 6 months. And then it goes up to $755.
But even though I got a new kid in life, got a newborn, even all that stuff sensitive. Oh, that cool.
Why don't you call the Office of Support Enforcement, explain that to them. If it makes a difference, they can put that back on the docket.
Oh man, I thought it was at 11. So do you know the number for the number you're telling me to call?
Well, it would be on the documents that you received. So look at the court documents you got regarding this motion. And it looks like I was just given that number. Do you have something to write with? 74.
All righty.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. I just wanted to confirm first, I did get an email from Mr. Angelico yesterday that they were going to request Mr. Ibanez-Rosales be added to the docket, and I'm not sure if that happened.
No, it actually got added onto next week's docket, I believe. Next week.
Okay.
And I do have Mr. Botero on the phone. He tried to log in 2 or 3 times and didn't get logged in, so he is holding on phone.
Okay, well, we can go take him first. He's number 2 on the docket.
Mr. Botero, are you there?
Yes.
All right. Good morning. Ms. Looney?
Thank you, Your Honor. So Mr. Botero was present at his last review hearing on January 18th. He had stated that he had recently made a payment and it should be posting his account soon. A $300 payment did post his account on January 20th. So he is paid in full for January, which makes him paid in full for 9 consecutive months. We would just request, if he's unable to pay in full for February, that he be required to complete a job search and work log, make an appointment with WorkSource for their job retraining program. The strategies for success number 4, and proof of his L&I claim that has been reopened, which has all been previously ordered, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Botero, well, first of all, Mr. Angelico, anything you want to add?
Yes, Your Honor. I think, Lee, is it correct that you sent me something? You did make a payment for February already?
Yeah, I sent you a receipt.
Yeah. He, I think, has made the February payment already, Your Honor, so he should be current the next hearing.
All right. Mr. Botero, thank you for the payments.
Yes, sir.
Should at any point in the future you not make a payment, then we're going to need a job search and work log. Have you attend strategies for success and make an appointment with WorkSource. But if you made the payment for February, it looks like we'll be good until the next time. When is his return date?
We would have his next review be March 15th, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Botero, we'll see you on March 15th.
00233-08.
Sager is here.
Yes, Your Honor. She is present today, and she was present at her last review on January 18th. She has paid in full for the month of January. So at this time, the state would just be requesting that if she's unable to pay in full for March or for February, that she be required to do a job search and work log, and that her next review be March 15th.
And is this just first month, or has she been paid in consecutive months now?
She was not paid in full for the month of December, so we are just on 1 month at this point.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Sager, thank you for the payment. And if you're not able to pay for February, then we need a job search and work log. If you make the payment, then you don't need to do that.
00249-8. Mr. Huffine was present at his last review on February 1st. We set today's hearing because he had not made a payment for January at that time. We were doing a review to make sure that he had made that payment. He does have a pay or go to jail order in place at this time. He had stated he was starting a new job. Your Honor had ordered that he supply the state with his job contact information, as well as make a payment. We did not see a payment having posted to his account and have not yet received any information regarding his employer or their contact information to be able to establish a PDN wage withholding. So at this time, Your Honor, what we're requesting is that the pay or go to jail audit order be enforced and that Mr. Huffine be required to report to jail no later than 5 p.m. today.
Mr. Angelico.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to need Mr. Huffine to explain a couple of things. One is that I believe my office had contact with Mr. Huffine this morning. I believe Mr. Huffine is now, was it currently employed by Lowe's?
Yes. Okay. I got a job offer last week.
And what happened with the employment with the convenience store?
Oh, I worked for 3 days, but then I got this offer and I let them know. While it was early, I made it easy. So I've already started at Lowe's and I've already filled out the paperwork for the automatic withdrawal. And I have my January payment. But I guess I'm gonna have to use it to bail me out. So that's what I'll do. Because I just got the payment. I have the money.
Anything further, Mr. Angelico?
No, Your Honor. I think we just needed to.
When did you start at Lowe's, Mr. Huffine?
I started Monday.
And why wasn't that information provided to either Mr. Angelico or Mr. Looney or Ms. Looney?
I just haven't spoken to them, but I can I'll be providing everything, and I have the payment, and yeah, if I need to report to jail today, I will, and I'll just bail out so I can go to work.
Well, sir, I made it clear last time that you either had to, you had to do two things. You had to pay $250 and provide information about your employer. You did neither of those things since our last hearing, which was on February 1. So I am going to require that you report to jail at p.m. today. And is the bail amount $250?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to set bail at $250. Ms. Looney is going to send me an order to that effect, unless there's one in place already. But if I need to sign an order, you can email it to me and I'll get that signed as soon as I get it.
The direct contempt order that's in place, Your Honor, should cover that. It does require that if he does not make his payments, that he's required to report to jail and to spend 10 days or until he's able to pay.
Okay. Well, you'll need to report to jail and pay the $250 in order to get out. And then I'm going to have you come back in 2 weeks on March 1st. By that time, I expect that you will provide information about who you're employed by and who Ms. Looney should contact to put in a payment plan with Lowe's. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of, Joseph, do you have a copy of, you indicated that you had signed something about deducting for child support?
Payroll deduct.
Did they give
I
you
don't have a copy, but I can get a copy.
Okay, if you can, or just the information about who the state can contact to put into place that plan.
Okay.
If we can get a copy of the wage withholding paperwork, that would be helpful so that we can ensure that the support enforcement officer on the case has that information.
Okay. All right. Again, Mr. Huffine, you'll need to report to the jail at 5 p.m. today.
Okay, I will. I can, when I get there, I can have somebody bail me out right away, right?
They will have to process you. So I don't know what right away means, but as soon as they go.
Well, a few hours, just, I have the money and I can have them pay it.
Okay.
But I'm sure I'll go through the whole booking process.
And again, Your Honor, can I get the requirements for the hearing on 3-1 was to provide the employer information?
Provide employer information, including the person to contact so that, what do we call it? A PDN can be put in place.
Yes, Your Honor. And if the jail can be notified that Mr. Huffine is required to report today, I'm sure if Your Honor could do a bench order that just states that our order has been enacted, just so that he's accepted and not turned away today.
Okay, I can do that.
00328-08. Mr. Irvin was present at his last review on January 18th. At that time, Your Honor has stated that you wanted more information about his income, and he was to provide profit and loss statements. We did receive those this morning. It appears that Mr. Angelico's email was sent after 5. He stated that he had received those late yesterday afternoon. So we've not had a chance to review those, excuse me, in much detail. We have not received a job search work log either for the month of January. At the last review hearing, Your Honor did order a payment for February of $800 by February 25th. So this time what the state would be requesting is that we set an early review on March 1st to ensure that that $800 payment was made.
And Your Honor, it did indicate in my email, we are able to file if Your Honor needs to. I provided it for just Your Honor's review. Actually, he, as the email indicated, he had sent it in earlier in the afternoon. However, I was not stuck, but I was at a drug court all afternoon and didn't get back to the office until a little bit later than I could send it. So I did send it that way. If the ones we provided to Your Honor were for just Your Honor's review, I can file this prior to that. We can get it on file with a sealed financial document so that it can go into the court file. So I will be sending that over with a copy to Ms. Looney for that portion. And we can come back on 3-1, it's fine.
I have a question for Mr. Irvin. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Irvin?
Yeah, yep.
On your personal carpentry work, you have rent or mortgage of $24.36. Is that a separate piece of property from where you live, or does that include?
No, my office is the same as my primary residency.
All right. So is that your mortgage amount, your whole mortgage amount?
It is, yes.
To clarify, Your Honor, the personal account was one where I think that there were a few other dollars going into that account. He started putting in, because not wanting to include it into business income, I think he separated it and started to put it into the Fiber Federal account, which is what the profit and loss statement is for. But I think that's the account that at times I think that the mortgage may have come out of.
So this should be taken as his personal income and expense statement. Is that right?
Yeah, it includes the money that's going in from the carpentry, not the money going in from the other business, but from the carpentry work he was doing, which is subsequently he was doing it for another person that had his dried up. So I don't think he's been doing carpentry work recent, but he did have it for a short period of time, and that's reflected in the profit and loss statement for the personal account.
And I'll make my payment for February tomorrow, and I'll send the copy to Mr. Angelico tomorrow.
All right. It looks like we need you back here on March 1. And I guess at that time, if Ms. Looney has any additional questions about the profit loss statements, we can address those at that time.
And the payment again was $800 and was it $800? $850?
$800.
$800. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mr. Huffine has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Our next hearing is on the 1st of March.
Yes.
Okay. And is this payment for February or for January?
Your Honor, he has not paid for January, so he needs to pay for January and for February.
So February on the 25th, right?
The last day to pay would be the 25th. It does need to be posted to his account per his pay or go to jail order, Your Honor, by the 25th.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
But I believe the bail that you're going to post today will be applied to January.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I think also pay February by the 25th of February.
I think that's what he was saying.
Posting means you've got to get it in a few days before.
Yeah, I need to at least get it in, try to get it in before the 25th.
No, it has to be posted by the 25th, so you need to probably, I would say, get it in ASAP because it may take a few days to post depending on how it gets paid.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to clarify.
I think you were intending to pay at Walmart, correct?
Yeah, and I'm going to, and then
okay.
And then they're supposed to, on my next paycheck, they're supposed to be taking it out.
So I have no idea how long it takes them to post if you pay at Walmart, how long it takes the state to post that.
I don't either.
So
it's anywhere from 2 to 5 business days.
So I would get it paid as soon as you can.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Sir Huffine, good luck at Lowe's. I hope that works out for you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, I think that's it on this docket. So, thank you.
Thank you, Yuri.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Anagnostis on that case. Anybody else on the guardianship of Parker?
Appearing, I believe I am the GAL on this matter.
All right, I do see Mr. Brandon Erbig also, and he's the petitioner. So we don't have Casey Erbig or David McCoy here. Sounds like. Who do you represent, Mr. Anagnostic?
I represent both the children, Your Honor. There's two children. There's I just spoke with Casey Erbig, and she I know was planning on being at this hearing. Oh, my staff is telling me she can't get on, but she planned on being here, and I'm not sure if the court wants to know what she has going on through me, or wait for her to get on board. I mean, I represent the two minor children, so and we have information to provide to the court with regard going forward, but that probably should come from Casey Erbig.
Okay. She's not in the waiting room. I've got a couple other cases. Why don't we pass it for right now? And maybe your staff could get a hold of her and give her directions on how to get on. And I see Mr. Chappelle was here also. But no Shauna.
I am right here.
Oh, there you are. Good. I'm glad you're here. Okay. So, pursuant really to the request I made at the last protection order hearing, Ms. Overby has filed for a minor guardianship of the two children because apparently they are staying with her. Ms. Ray, first of all, I don't want to assume this, but are you going to be opposing this Ms. Overby being appointed the minor's guardian?
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with this at all.
Okay. And that's what we're here for. It's to determine whether that should be done or not, and you have every right to oppose it and present a case that should not happen. Let me ask you, would you like an attorney appointed for you?
Yes, I would.
Okay. The court has entered already what's called an immediate emergency order that appoints Ms. Overly as the children's guardian. I believe we have that. Let me take a look. Oh, maybe not, because we're just going for guardianship here. Yeah, that was signed on February 10. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to do until we get up to a hearing on the emergency guardianship is I'm going to continue the immediate emergency guardianship, leaving Ms. Overly in place as that for now.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Is my name correct as OVE?
Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yes, it is. So I've been pronouncing it wrong.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The other thing that I need to do is appoint what's called a court visitor to work with Ms. Overby and investigate the situation. We do that randomly on a rotation basis with the individuals that serve in that capacity. The next person up is Sherry Farr. She will be contacting all of the parties and will assist the court in determining what's the best course of action. The protection order case, I indicated that Ms. Ray was to have one telephone call every week. So I expect that will continue. All right, I'm going to put this on a review hearing in a few weeks. I'm going to put that on a Tuesday docket. The reason we're here Thursday is because the case ends in an odd number, but because I'm tracking the protection order case and this one, I want to make sure the orders are consistent between the two whenever we enter any orders. And so I'm going to keep it on a docket that I'm going to see. Ms. Overby, anything else that you think we need to address today?
I would like to make the courts aware that supervised visitations have not been started. I did attend the meeting with the facilitator for that, but as per Ms. Ray, she did not complete the required UA that you asked for at the protection hearing.
Okay.
And so that is yet to be completed.
Ms. Ray, is that something that you can take care of in the next few days?
Yes. Actually, as far as the supervised visitation goes, I did follow through with that a while ago, actually. And I was stopped due to obvious. She's filed for custody. So then it got to where I get a phone call. So as far as the UA goes, I was walking out the door when she served me these papers. And then when I got served these papers and was told that you don't do nothing until you go to court, I guess I chose to listen to that. And I just kind of had a little mental breakdown with all this that's going on. So no, I didn't complete my UA. I'm sorry. But I can do that for you.
Okay. Ms. Overby, are you okay with cooperating with supervised visits?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And what agency was that with?
Reconnecting Families is who Shauna set it up with. I also have been utilizing the app that was recommended by Mallory Smith for communication between Shauna and myself. And her scheduled calls are Tuesday evenings. We have them set up on a regular rotation for consistency for the children.
Okay, good. Say a supervised visit could be as many as one per week, whenever that works out for the parties. And if it doesn't work out, one per week, one every other week. But if I say one per week in the bench order in this case, will that work for you, Ms. Overby?
Yes, Your Honor.
I know there's a lot of transportation involved, so that's why I wanted to ask you.
I will be able to comply with any requests of the court.
Okay.
I hope that I would have some say in scheduling, as the kids are starting extracurriculars, and so Sundays might be a better day than Saturdays sometimes.
That probably depends on reconnecting families and how when they can do it.
Okay.
Ms. Smith, it sounds like you've had some involvement in this case. Maybe it makes more sense to appoint you the court visitor in this minor guardianship.
Did that just change the court visitor back to Mallory Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This is a new case, but since Ms. Smith is involved with this, the parties already, I think that makes sense to appoint her here. All right, so Ms. Ray, I need to do a UA before the supervised visit starts, but assuming you get that done in the next couple of days, then I'll allow supervised visits and up to one a week, plus the telephone calls or the video calls.
So the supervised visits are still through Reconnecting Families, or
Yes.
just through Mallory? Okay.
Yeah, let's do them through Reconnecting Families, which I think is more convenient for you, isn't it?
Anyway,
You're in Cowlitz County. I'm not sending you to Shelton to do those.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's, unless anybody has another idea, why don't we get back together in a month, almost a month. Let's set a review hearing for March 14th, which is a Tuesday. And we can determine then how we'll proceed. If we need a hearing on the emergency minor guardianship, then we'll set a date for that hearing close to the 14th or closely after the 14th.
Thank you, sir. My order here expires today. Would I need to come back down to Cowlitz and acquire?
No, I'm going to extend that. That's part of what I'm going to do today. So I'll extend the immediate emergency guardianship until March 14th. And if we're in a position to, if we have to do a hearing on the emergency minor guardianship at that time, then we'll set a hearing date probably close to the 14th.
Okay. I have one more thing to note. Due to the distance between parties, can it be entered that Ms. Ray offers an email that I can utilize for service of documents?
Ms. Ray, I don't want you to say the email in public here, but do you have an objection to Ms. Overby using your email?
No, I don't. However, everything that I've put in the system, phone-wise, anything, I know I'm trying to figure this out, but it's all eventually within a couple days. Like, I'm not able to get into it a majority of the time. It's a bunch of stuff that I've been going through for a while now. I'm trying to figure out who's in my phone or what's on my phone that's not allowing me and Joe to communicate, and sometimes even Mallory. Anything of importance with this case, I've majority of the time cut off.
Ms. Overby, do you know Ms. Ray's email address?
I believe I have a copy of, yes, I believe so.
Hearing this exchange, I think what we need to do is you can go ahead and email, but I think you still need to follow it up by sending her whatever documents you want to file with the court.
Okay,
thank you. Just wanted to confirm. So we are going to continue the once a week phone calls. They have been scheduled for Tuesday by the parties, and that the supervised visits will occur upon Ms. Ray completing the UA, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Go forward then when we get back together on March 14th, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everyone. You were saying that there was some, I guess, new information, and you wanted Ms. Casey Ervig to discuss that.
Right. So let me start first by saying, with regards to Riley, she'll be 16 in a month or so. And she's doing well living with her uncle. And I think that status quo is going to stay the same. She's 16 and has her own schedule that she's in school and doing various things. With regards to Parker, the younger child, Ms. Ervig wants to do an inpatient program, and she can explain what she's looking into. And then I can comment with regards to what I believe is, my client's rights, basically. But she's, one and a half or however old.
Let's talk about Riley. I see the emergency guardian is in front of me today, the emergency guardianship petition. Is there a full guardianship petition filed in that case?
Yes, I filed it 3 weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
That's actually how we became to today's court date, was that motion that I filed.
And Brandon, or the uncle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Casey can correct me if I'm wrong. She's not fighting the Riley guardianship. Riley is almost 15 and has chose to live with us. And I continue to talk to her about it. She continues to want to stay with us. I have not put a whole lot of visitation parameters with her and her mom. If she wants to talk to her mom, she can talk to her. I know she visits her from time to time. We've just kind of let Riley make up her own mind on this.
Okay. What's the status of Mr.?
I believe he's back in jail again.
Yeah, he's not in the picture, Your Honor. He never really has been.
Has he been served with either petition?
He was served with the emergency one because he was in jail. Okay. I tried to reach out for the last paperwork. He was not in jail at the time and could not get a hold of him. And then I recently found out he was back in jail and did not get a chance to serve him before today.
Do we want to enter an emergency minor guardianship then in the Riley case?
I don't think that that's necessary. Riley wanted to go live with her uncle. I allowed her to go start staying with him before this whole court proceeding even started. So we've kind of just left it up to Riley. If she chooses to want to be there, I'm okay with her being there, as long as she's attending school and doing what she's supposed to be doing, which from what I hear, she's doing great. So I'm completely 100% okay with Riley being there.
All right, thank you. Mr. Agnosti, what's your view of, should we just not enter anything in the Riley's case till the full guardianship comes before the court?
When will that occur?
I don't know.
So
that could be a month or two from now.
Right, and I'm thinking, this is an older child, and I've met with her and talked to her, and she's got her own wishes and desires at this point. And so as long as the situation is protected until we enter a final order, however we want to accomplish that, I would think an emergency guardianship should be granted, or at this point, enter just the guardianship orders from, I call it the main guardianship case, but.
Well, I don't know that I can do the full guardianship till the father is served with that petition. But we do have, I think, the emergency guardianship, which would be good for 60 days and then could be renewed another 60. And that would allow you to get to court on the full guardianship. The problem with doing nothing, Ms. Ervig, is it doesn't give Brandon Ervig any authority if he needs to make medical decisions, get medical records and things like that.
Right. And at the beginning of all this, I wrote out.
Well, you just muted yourself. At the beginning of this, you wrote out a statement giving him that authority.
To take her to the doctors and to get her enrolled in school and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
There is currently an emergency guardianship in play with Riley also. I do have those documents that I've been able to use.
Has that been working for you? Well, what the court has given you is an immediate emergency minor guardianship. So that would give you the authority. I either have to extend that today, or I need to enter what we call an emergency minor guardianship. I don't mean to upset the apple cart in terms of what Riley wants, but I do, Mr. Ervig, I want you to have the authority to make decisions for her.
Yes, and that's fine if you need to put in an emergency guardianship. That is fine until we can get dad served.
I'm okay with that. I'm not contesting that at all.
Okay, all right. I don't have an order. I think will be easiest is I'll just draft an order to that effect in this case. Okay. Mr. Anagnostou, do you want to see it before I sign it?
No, I'm fine.
Has David McCoy been served in that? I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
Yes, I believe he has.
I had the sheriff's office serve him.
I do see that on January 13th. Okay. Ms. Ervig, apparently you're going to go to inpatient treatment. Do you want to tell the court about that?
It's a program for pregnant or parenting women. It's called PPW, and it's a 6-month inpatient program where I'm only eligible to go if Parker goes with me. And it's just a treatment program that kind of surrounds, it's all funded and by the state. And my insurance covers it for me and Parker to go. And it's for drug and alcohol treatment. It's for family counseling and therapy. And it's all kind of centered around, mothers with children. And so after the 6 month of doing that, then they would put me in housing and help me get a job and follow up with me for the next 2 years, I believe. There's a 2-year-long outpatient and other stuff that they follow up with. So they wouldn't just be booting us out. But it's something I really want to do. And I've looked into it, and my brother signed off on it and said that he was okay with it. And the attorney seems to be okay with it. Everybody seems to be on board, but the guardian ad litem doesn't agree with it. And I've spoke with CPS and they think it's a great idea. I've spoke with my PCAP worker. She thinks it's a great idea. And the program's amazing. So I'm just kind of stuck in limbo because there's a bed date open for us right now. They can't hold it for us, but there is one available. I just need permission to go. And my brother's already said that he's fine with it as long as I complete it. That I could have Parker back, and he's okay with that. But if I didn't, he would want Parker back, which is understandable. So I typed something up, and everybody signed it except for the guardian ad litem. So I didn't get to serve it to the court or file it with the court because she hadn't signed it, so they wouldn't accept it. And I've spoke with them multiple times today, actually, and they have a bed available for me and Parker as of right now.
So you'd be going down there in the next couple of days if this worked out.
Yes, and I already have my apartment all packed up and ready to go into storage and everything, just hoping that this works out.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need to know that if this doesn't work out, that I have a leg to stand on. I would hope that my sister is ready to get clean this time. Past history shows rehab doesn't work for her. But my biggest concern is for Parker. I'm willing to let, Casey take Parker, but there needs to be stipulations to where if this doesn't work out, that Parker is returned to me and my wife.
Mr. Anagnostou, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, generally these are good programs like the Oxford houses and those type of things where they promote being clean from drugs and alcohol and promote good care of children and get people back involved in their children's lives in a positive way. So generally, these are good programs. In discussing this with Brandon, the uncle, I agree. And talking with Casey, she indicated she'll be doing UAs 3 times a week. The issue becomes information to Brandon, to the uncle. So if the order contained as part of the order that she has to sign a release and allow Mr. Brandon to have information regarding UAs and the status of things. That would be my request, that he have some kind of oversight with the program. It'd indicate that if she moved out or failed out or some issue came up, that custody would automatically transfer back to Brandon Ervig and for the protection of Parker. Beyond that, I think these programs are generally, they're great as long as Casey, and she sounds dedicated, willing to participate and go through this program. So it's a 6 months inpatient, and then she explained that it'd be 6 months of monitoring after that. So it's a year-long program.
It's 2 years of monitoring after that. I'm sorry.
2 years. Thank you. If she fails out, that will be unfortunate. On behalf of my client, of course, Parker, she has constitutional rights to be raised by her mother. And if this is what will allow her mother to raise her, then I think this is, overall, these are good programs. But we have to put some safety nets in place in case it doesn't work. Brandon has explained that she has gone to various other programs and they don't work. It doesn't last.
I've only completed one other inpatient program, and I was clean for 5 years after that. So I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Ms. Smith, are you on this case?
I am, Your Honor.
Do you want to share your thoughts?
Your Honor, I am not in agreement with this plan of action. I understand how the PPW programs work. I think that they do support a family relationship. They do support the parent-child relationship in many ways. In this particular situation, I don't believe that it's in the child's best interest right now. It's my understanding that Ms. Ervig is largely motivated in just gaining custody of the child back. The court has asked Ms. Ervig to submit to a hair follicle. We still don't have any of that information. His information that I've been provided by the child in the other case, Mr. Ervig indicates that Miss Ervig's mother has largely served as the children's parent for Riley and her older sibling. There's a lack of parenting function or healthy parenting function that concerns me for this very young child. Additionally, and I've been trying to finalize my report, so that will be filed shortly. You will see that we have individuals that are reaching out to me unprompted, indicating that Ms. Ervig may seek to leave the state once she's gained custody of the child.
Are you kidding me? What the hell? Okay, I'm not nowhere. That's insane. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
PW or participating in those very foundational aspects of sobriety that I believe that the child also deserves and needs for a healthy and thriving childhood.
If I was to leave the facility, they don't even allow Parker to leave with me. They would take Parker from me. So Parker would never be able to walk out of the facility with me if I chose to leave. Just saying. I mean, that's part of the stipulations. But
just give me a moment here.
I don't even care about getting custody of Parker back. I just want to be with her. If Brandon wants to keep guardianship or whatever until I'm done with the program and follow through with all the requirements, that's completely fine with me. I just want to be with my daughter.
Could I ask a question, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question of the petitioner, of Brandon. As indicated, I don't represent him. I represent the children. But my question would be of him if he has any fear of his sister, of Casey, running with Parker and hiding, because, I mean, that leads to, criminal charges of custodial interference and various other things if somebody does that. I'm just wondering if he has a fear that she would do that.
I would like to think that if she goes to this program, she is going to see it through. But as she indicated, she did do drug court and was clean for 5 years and then left. And I believe there was 2 other, I'm trying to remember back to conversations with my mother, that there was 2 other treatment programs she left out of. But, I mean, obviously that's a fear with anybody battling addiction. That
yeah.
they do.
My question though, Brandon, is not so much whether she would fail out of the program, become dirty, that kind of thing, but is there a risk of her taking Parker and hiding, in the face of law enforcement looking for her and various other things? I mean, do you have that fear?
Kind of, but not really. That's a really hard question to ask. I don't have fear that she's going to run out of my house when she's there for visitations with Parker. But, as a parent, I like to think what I would do in that situation. And what parents choose to do, sometimes, that might be a drastic measure.
When I have visitation with Parker, we go in the front yard, we play all by ourselves out there. If I wanted to take off, I would jump in the car and leave with her right then. I don't understand. I would complete the 6 months and do my requirements so I can have my daughter back. I wouldn't run and then risk going to jail and losing her for good. That's absolutely insane. I don't even know anybody out of state. The only family I have here is in Longview, nor do I have the financial means to leave the state. And like I said, if I left treatment, Parker wouldn't be allowed to leave with me. So that's not even possible.
If I allowed the treatment, Mr. Ervig, would you be able to transport Ms. Ervig and Parker to the facility?
I have to go to the facility first, and I have to be in there for 1 week before Parker can be brought to me. So there would be a scheduled date and time for Brandon to drop Parker off to me, and that's after my blackout week, and then she's able to be brought to me.
Okay.
Yes, we would be able to transport her down there. The only other question I have, and it might be, I don't know who to ask it to, is Parker is currently seeing a specialist for her ear, nose, and throat. She's getting really bad double ear infections, and they are planning on doing a surgery to insert tubes in her ear so her ears will drain. She just met with her specialist yesterday. We do not have a scheduled surgery date, but after a 5-minute talk with the doctor, they said it was urgent. She needs to have these tubes inserted to get rid of her ear infections. So I need to know that we will be able to pick her up and take her to her surgery, or however that works. She needs to get to that doctor's appointment and get this done.
Ms. Ervig, do you know if
being surgery and there's a more extensive situation, I'm sure that they would allow her to, go with you or to take me to take her. It would be a supervised transportation for me to take her to her appointment. That's what they're there for. That's what they're set up to do.
If Mr. Ervig could have regular visits with Parker?
No, he
treatment.
He can come and visit once a week on family visiting days. He's allowed to come visit at the facility, but he can't take Parker and leave the facility with her for multiple reasons. Of course, that they wouldn't want contraband being brought back into the facility. They wouldn't want to risk, anybody's sobriety or anything like that. So they just keep everybody that's in there is in there, but he's allowed to come visit once a week. Yes. And he would be allowed to come to family counseling sessions and therapy sessions. And so would my other daughters if they chose to. So Parker wouldn't just be taken away from any of them. They'd be more than welcome to come see her.
Ms. Smith, do you have any familiarity with this particular place and program?
I'm actually just looking at, if I heard it correctly, it's Lifeline Connections. Is that correct, Ms. Ervig?
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry, my phone rang. I was trying to silence it.
What is the name of the facility that you're going to?
Lifeline.
So I'm looking at the website right now, Your Honor. I'd be more than happy to make some phone calls to confirm.
Well, here's what let me just think out loud with everybody. Okay. Yes. We agree to this. I want to initially enter an emergency minor guardianship in favor of Brandon Ervig. He will have to authorize Casey Ervig to take Parker to this facility. I don't want any snapback provisions. I want it from the beginning that Brandon Ervig has custody and has the guardianship. Casey Ervig would have Parker by his permission. Casey Ervig would have to sign a release of information so that Brandon Ervig could check in with the facility at any time.
I'm completely okay with that, but so once I complete the 6 months inpatient and I complete, at what extent does this come to an end?
Well,
3 years or?
All I can do is enter an emergency right now because of the way the service is. I would imagine once we get Mr. McCoy served in the full guardianship, then I would want you to agree to a full guardianship. And we would have a review. The first review would be 6 months when you get out. And it seems to me there may need to be some changes at that. What I would like to do, and I understand they've got a bed available now, but they will have beds available in the future.
It's a 6 month program, so it comes 6 months, for another bed date.
Well, I'm wanting Miss Smith to do some investigation into this program before I make a final decision. And so we're going to have to put this over. I could put this over till Tuesday. That would be a little shorter than a week. That would give Miss Smith a couple days to do some contact.
That's fine. And on Tuesday, my PCAP worker will be attending court with me, and she's fully going to advocate for the program as well.
Ms. Ervig, what did you indicate that if you signed up, they wouldn't want Parker for a week? Is that what you said? 10 days?
Yeah, it's a blackout phase that they have where I would have to be there for a week before Parker is brought to me.
Okay. So if we, Your Honor, I'm just making a suggestion. If Ms. Smith looks into it and we can approve this, she can at least go down there and get signed up for it, and then we can actually review it a week after that to see if she's done that and if they're waiting now for Parker to be delivered.
I'm not in a position personally to approve this till I get some information back from Ms. Smith on the facility. And the questions I would want to check out is what kind of living situation do they have? Do they have their own room? Is it, a dorm setting? I don't know.
Private bedrooms. Me and Parker have our own room.
And that's what I assume, but I want to make sure that's the case. Secondly, it's been represented that Ms. Ervig cannot remove Parker without their permission. I'd want to make sure that that's true. And thirdly, I want to make sure that Mr. Ervig, once a release is signed, can obtain any information that he would like from the facility.
I'm okay with all of that.
Okay.
Also, on their website, there's a virtual tour you can take of the facility on their website.
Right, so Ms. Ervig, I'm attempting to move in the direction to make this work for you, but I need additional information. Let's get back together next Tuesday. That would be the 21st at 10:30, and we'll just kind of take it up from here, and I'll hear what Ms. Smith has learned, and then we'll go from there. I think, Ms. Ervig, you're to be commended for locating this program and being willing to go to it and being willing to comply with what will probably be pretty stringent requirements on my part. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Smith, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Anagnostou? Mr. Ervig?
Yeah, can we hash out one more thing real quick? Casey, your visitation. So I had to move one parent's visitations to Saturdays. I need to know what time works for you on Saturday, Casey.
It
so
just needs to be a
get
little
your
bit later in the
visitations figured
day.
out.
It just needs to be a little bit later in the day.
3
My
to 5.
vehicle was just stolen, and it's hard to get a ride all the way from Kalama to Longview at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So if we can just put it off to a little bit later,
3
like
to
we have
5
for
work.
Sunday. What was that?
3 to 5 p.m.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you be back here on Tuesday?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Then we'll see everybody back here on Tuesday. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.